Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Marco Lopez, who's a mental performance expert for Visionaries. Marco, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's great to be here with you.
Hey, so I know that the mental game is so important. I want to dive all into what you do and how you do it, but get us started first with a little bit of your story and background and how did you get into this industry working with Visionaries?
Well, wonderful. I have a big story. I've been told that a lot. So we could spend a lot of time here, but I'll give you the high level overview. So I was born to two parents who were very high performance driven. They had big dreams, big goals of what they wanted to do with their life. And they both had different and unique challenges as well. So they were amazing parents, but both had their unique challenges. For my dad, he was very high performance driven, but he would go at it very intensely, and he learned that he even developed a tremor in his hand because of how intensely he was going. And so he would later go on to talk about and focus on quieting the mind. And my mom was, again, very high performance driven, but challenged by overwhelm, anxiety, a lot of mental noise, and just a lot of analysis that would go on in her mind. But she also was very prone to depression and anxiety and kind of tuning out. And so those were some kind of mindset backgrounds that I saw a lot growing up. And I inherited a lot of my mom's stuff, which was a lot of that mental noise and the prone to depression and prone to anxiety. I had a lot of that in me. And when I was younger, I was a roller coaster emotionally. I would always be up and down, and I wouldn't really know what to expect. I didn't have the confidence to be able to say, yes, I'll be there and at that day and I'll be feeling great, because every day I didn't really know how I'd be feeling. So I felt like I was out of control mentally. So that's in my early background, Mike, kind of how, why this thing started and this curiosity, because I seriously thought something was very, very wrong with my mind. And really there was something wrong with my mind, at least with the way that I was using it. And
it's interesting when you say that about your parents. Did you recognize that now? But when you were younger, growing up, did you recognize that as being a situation going through it? Meaning, mom is just sad all the time. I guess that's the way she is. Or did you know that she struggled with that and there were some good days and some bad days?
Yeah, I knew that she struggled with that. And in fact, she was the happiest mom. We had such a loving home, a loving family, but sometimes she just wasn't herself. Yeah. She wasn't herself. She was very different. And so I recognized that in her, and I wanted so badly for her to be consistent as well, for her to be more, just more consistent for us. But I knew that was a struggle for her.
Yeah. So at what point did you say, okay, I recognize this as a problem. I want to solve it, and I want to solve it for them, then me, then other people. How did that transition happen?
It happened in my career. So I'm thinking of a moment, Mike, when I was about 16 years old, sitting on my couch in my living room, and I had recently had a spiritual blessing where someone had given me advice through this blessing to focus on serving people in my life, that my life would be blessed as I focused on service to other people. And I thought, well, how do I serve people? At that point in my life, I was pretty self-absorbed. I was, focused on myself and focused on developing myself. I had some talents, Mike, in drawing and singing and being out in nature. Those were the things I loved. and they weren't things that I thought could ever earn money. And so at that point, when I was 16, I was really interested in, okay, what could this thing be that allows me to add service and add value in my life? And so I knew that I wanted to add service, to contribute and give service, but I didn't know how. And so I turned to spiritual readings. I turned to writings from my grandpa. My mother's dad had written a lot of things. And by that point in my life, my parents were actually divorced. My dad was living in Mexico and Africa, lots of places, but he had written a lot of things on quieting the mind. And I really turned to those resources to help me. I knew that, so to answer your question, at that point, I really knew that I needed help. I needed help. And I was, for whatever reason, I guess I was wise enough to realize that maybe there was a way and I just didn't know how. And I wanted the way. I was looking, I was searching.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously you are still searching because no one ever arrives. We never attained. We're always, like Tony Robbins talks about with Kanai, constant and never ending improvement. So when you are talking about helping visionaries with their mental performance, what problem are you helping them solve? Because typically when you hear the word visionary, you think of someone who's, well-established, expert, influencer kind of a person. So what problems are you helping them solve?
So that's a great question. My journey took me to learning a lot about myself, and really, Mike, it was diving into my unique talents, my unique abilities. Yeah. I didn't know how I would ever make money with music. I mean, I was a pretty talented singer, thanks to my mom. She got me into that, and talented as an artist as well. Like artists are able to almost create something from nothing. They take their inspiration and they're able to create something in the physical world. And that I was good at. I knew that I was good at that. And so to make a long story short, my journey was long. I mean, I had some traumatic family experiences and different things that really opened me up and really committed me at a deep level that I was here to serve people and help people on a deep level. And so fast forwarding all these years, after a lot of struggle in getting this started and in launching my business, leaving the high-tech software career and a successful career, backing up financially to be able to pursue my unique thing, I launched MindTune. And MindTune was to help people to be able to access much higher efficiency and much higher capacity through a strategy of quieting their mind. And so to answer your question, today, I work with very high-level entrepreneurs, very high-level visionaries mostly, and people who are overwhelmed mentally. And so this looks like people who have a lot on their plate. They're doing lots of things. They have lots of people coming to them, needing money, needing their time, needing their skills, whatever. They have so many things on their plate, but they feel overwhelmed. They feel scattered. They lack that focus. And so I teach them how to quiet the conscious mind and access more of the subconscious mind, which allows them to multiply their efficiency.
Neat. You know, when you hear of people saying, I just feel scattered and overwhelmed, I was going to say, what are some of the triggers that makes people think I might need to have my problem solved? Well, scattered and feeling overwhelmed. But if someone were to feel that way, how do they know what to do about it? Because someone might go, I'm just so scattered and overwhelmed, I need to and do something totally different. What makes them realize that they should quiet their mind and have a type of a centering and a retuning that way?
Well, the thing is, so much of this, Mike, is just awareness. Most people just kind of think that they are at the level that they're at because that's their capacity. That's what they're capable of. Where the truth is that they're only at the level they're at because they've allowed themselves to be at that level. It's because of the limits that they're holding in their mind that are setting the boundaries of what they're accomplishing. And so people don't even know that they need to quiet their mind. That's not the conversation that I have with people. I just ask people, what do they want? What are they looking for? What have you always wanted? And if I could help you get that, if I could help you get closer to that, would you work with me? Would you be interested in working with me? And then they're like, well, yes. And so then we get into it. Then we talk about it. And we bring up, okay, you want this thing. Like maybe you want to be able to work less, but be able to earn more money, but you don't know how you could do that. Okay, if I could show you how you could do that, would that be interesting to you? Yes, of course. And then I teach them about their mind and about what's going on. And when they're honest with me and they really open up about it, there's all kinds of mental noise, all kinds of limits in their mind that they never even knew about. And so this is just a matter, Mike, of multiplying our efficiency. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
Probably if you were to ask someone, oh, you're not happy, what would make you happy? And you probably asked this question many times, and don't you get some people that say, I just don't know? What do you say in that case?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people never give themselves the chance to really explore what they could do. Mm-hmm. See, our whole society, Mike, is very enamored with the logical mind, the logic, being sensible in the things that we do. But it's that sensibility or that sensibleness that prevents us from accessing our full potential, from seeing what we really can do. And, I was just reading, this is interesting. I was reading about a CIA document that they were holding secret for a while. I mean, anybody can probably look it up. This was just a couple of days ago. And the CIA opened up, they revealed these things that they have been learning. They've got experts who have been doing research as to how to tap into higher levels of consciousness. And can we do these superhuman things? And they're exploring that. But what they've found in their research so far is that it's all about quieting the logical mind. If you can get that mind out of the way, there's unlimited potential that we can tap into. And so that is really the secret. What was your question again? I'll come back to that. I was going somewhere with this.
Well, what if you ask someone, you just told me you're not happy, what would make you happy? And they say, oh yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah. So what happens with people is every now and then people will have a desire, everybody wants something. And every now and then that want rises to the surface of their consciousness, and they're excited for a second, but then pretty soon the logical mind comes in and says, I can't have that because I don't have the opportunities. I don't have the connections. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources, or whatever thing that logical mind is talking them out of pursuing the thing that they want.
Yeah.
And so so many people don't know what they want. They don't know exactly what they want. When in my story, I knew what I wanted, but I was so frustrated because I couldn't get it. And it takes perseverance. It takes that mentality, that belief, that trust, and that faith that you actually can get what you want, but you've got to go on an exploratory journey, a journey of exploring and opening your mind up as to how you can get what you want, which involves quieting that mental logic that's telling you all about your limitations, what you can't do.
So you created your system, you work with Visionaries. When someone goes through your system, what are some of the changes that they experience that helps them think, decide, and create results for themselves? Is it more of a clarity, or is it more of a energetic, I'm now getting up and bounding out of bed in the morning and getting more things done?
Yeah, so first of all, and related to your previous question, we help them get in tune with what they really, really want, what they really, really want. And that creates a North Star for them. It creates a direction for them that's deep. And they have a purpose, a deeper purpose for what they're doing that was, much deeper than what they had before. That's typical. But then the other side of it is they know what they want, but now they've got to get out of their own way. And so I teach them this process of offloading the heaviness from their conscious mind and delegating it to their subconscious mind, which is much more powerful to handle it. And now they're going around clear, present, when they're talking to someone, they're actually physically there with the person instead of thinking about all the things that they've got to do and feeling this almost untraceable or unidentifiable feeling of overwhelm, like they just carry it around with them. That's what they were doing before. But now they've offset that. Imagine just taking all those problems, all those challenges, those unresolved things that you have, and setting it aside, giving it to this really, really powerful genie or assistant to handle it for you. And then you're free to be present. You're free to be here. That's what they experience, is that.
Do you find, when you said that, it made me think of something that I know I've struggled with or come to realize in my life.
Yeah.
We tend to not live in the present as much as we should. Meaning we look at the past and go, oh, if only those days were here, or look to the future. Oh, I'm worried about this, or I want this to happen. And we're envisioning too much about the future or the past and not really resting in what we actually have right now that is good and experiencing the present. How do you help someone clarify that?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that CIA article brought up was that really the only thing that exists is in the now. And when you really can get into that now state, you tap into the supernatural. You can tap into these higher levels. And so, yes, people aren't living in the present, and that's a lot of the problem because their logical mind and their mental patterns are taking them back into regrets of the past or worries about the future, whatever it is. And so much of it is just learning how to trust. And so I guide them to do things that they're not naturally going to do. And I tell them, okay, this thing you're not going to worry about. You're going to learn these exercises that keep you in the present. And so I teach them mental tools that anchor them to the present moment, almost force them to stay in the present when their mind wants to go to the future and to the past. I teach them these things and we train them and it becomes habitual for them. And it's things that they can put into practice the second we start working together. I have a lady comes to mind. There's this free training that I give away to people when they're starting to work with me or when I speak places. And this lady listened to that 20-minute training. And then she said, Marco, and I met with her afterwards. And she said, Marco, after I listened to your training, I was able to write this resume and do this proposal in less than 30 minutes that normally would have taken me hours to do. And that's the kind of thing that people experience. And that was no contact with me. That was just her listening to this audio training that I had. Mm-hmm. It opened up her mind to really prioritize stillness and prioritize the present. And when she got her mind back to that present state, her capacity took off. Whereas before she'd been stuck with all these thoughts.
Yeah. So what do you say to someone that goes, okay, I hear you, I need it, I just don't have time to do that? So A, how long per day are you saying you need to be working in your program? And then B, what do you say to someone that says, I just can't find the time?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And it's such an authentic belief, but it is a belief and it is a paradigm. It is a limitation that people have because they think that they don't have enough time, but because they're not using their time very efficiently. They're using, in the time that they have, they're thinking about so many things. So it's like they have so many tabs open in their computer and they're not really focused at the thing that they're doing. And so when we learn to think in this different way and use our minds in this different way, we find a whole lot more time. And so I love working with people when they're in that busy state. I say when they're in that busy state, I say, this is the perfect time to do it. I'll help you buy more time. I'll help you gain more time, and I'll help you to do the things that you've been currently doing with a lot more ease and a lot more efficiency.
I love it. Well, I tell you, this has been really helpful, Marco, and people should be looking for that extra edge to improve their life personally, professionally. And if someone is interested in doing that or learning more, what's the best way they can reach out and connect with you?
Well, great. The idea just came to mind as I was sharing that last thing. I would love to give that free audio that I was mentioning to you. I'd love to share that with anybody on your program, anybody who's listening right now to the podcast. And the way that you would do that, go to my site, which is marcolopez360.com. And when you go there, click on Contact, and just shoot me a text. And in the text, just write efficiency. Write efficiency, and I'll send you a training, a 20-minute training that will help you solve whatever problem that you're facing right now. It will help you do it faster and way more efficiency. It'll essentially solve that problem that you have right now.
Great.
So just shoot me a text and I'll send that to you.
Thank you, Marco. Really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
It's been a pleasure, Mike. Thank you so much. Great questions.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.